A lot of you have been wondering if the A's are a serious franchise. Maybe, maybe not. I don't think I'm personally in a position to weigh in on that, but I can tell you one thing. We're a serious podcast, and it's time to get serious about the A's. 9 games later, the Oakland A's are always taking one step forward, 3 steps back, another 2 steps forward, a step sideways, and then they turn around, clap their hands, and find new ways to excite and disappoint us. It has been a weird stretch. We have a lot planned today besides baseball, A's baseball. No, it's still A's baseball, but it's a little more fun. So we hope that this pod will be more exciting than the A's have been the last 9 episodes. Episodes. I say episodes like a game because like they've been putting us through like emotional episodes. I think every time they play.
Can't disagree. I'm happy you mentioned the sideways thing because there are steps sideways, that this team takes. I think Mitch Spence is a step sideways, you know. Take that for what you will. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about this team per always, not because there's a gun pointed at my head, but because there's actually some players playing well. We'll talk about some players that we think that the A's are going to probably want to bring to Vegas and that they're not going to sell on this year or anytime too soon. We'll keep the vibes high per usual. And yeah, I'm excited to talk the A's.
Do you want to go lumps first? Do you want to just get that out of the way? Do
Or
you
bad
want to
news
kind of?
first podcasts will.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll do lumps. That's fine. I got plenty of them anyway.
Oh,
Ah,
you forget.
all right.
I kind of forgot about how it's one of my least favorite things just in life of hearing you take shots at the A's. It's like you insist on doing this every couple episodes. I don't get it. I think we should be a positive podcast, but take your best shot, Will. Go for it.
I will. I'm going to take my first lump of coal and I'm going to take my shot at Max Schumann, our shortstop. So I know I could have probably gone with a few other people for one lump. I'm going to focus on Schumann because he had a good amount of time as the leadoff hitter in the lineup with Abraham Toro out on the IL with a hamstring injury, I believe. So he went 4-25 over the last 9 games. Toro's presence in the field as well as in the hitting lineup is definitely missed. Schumann has not done a whole lot. Specifically in the Royal Series, Game 3, he was brutal in the last 2 innings. He got picked off at first, and he flied out with a guy on third. That was definitely a game that the A's could have won, and Schumann definitely had some minus plays that prevented them from winning that game. He's still the team's starting shortstop, I think. I mean, the A's don't really have anybody that's worth playing over him at this point, so I think his spot is safe. I think also his time as a leadoff hitter in the lineup in the absence of Toro has dried up and died, and he's going to probably find himself in the 8-9 hole for now, which is fine as long as, he can actually, see the ball better. But I don't know if he is, and yeah, he's getting a lump.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a funny stretch for the show. He had 8 walks, which is more than double the next guy on the team in this stretch, or exactly double Blade and Nevin, and everyone else had less than 4 walks. But yeah, 160, the OPS is still pretty bad, even if you take the walks into account. And yeah, just some pretty memorably bad plays and times in a pretty bad losing stretch. It is kind of funny. He moves up in the order and he actually is able to get on base or at least take walks more often, but then just the rest of the game seems to dry up, as you said. So yeah, I mean, the walks are interesting. Maybe if that can, if he's taking more walks just generally, even when the average comes back up and he starts getting more hits again. I do think that he's a guy, if he played 150 games, he's hitting at least 240, 250. So, yeah, maybe that could be a positive spin, is that more time he's spending in the majors, the better his eye and his discipline's getting. or it was just a really bad stretch, and some of these walks could have been hits if he took more advantage of 3-1 counts and 2-0 counts and whatever have you. That's baseball, Will.
Yeah, I always have to remind myself that we are kind of like we're sort of observing a bit on the margin here. Like we're just trying to look at like the last like 6 to 9, 10, 11 games. I
Yeah.
mean, one stretch like a guy could look great, and then another stretch of those games like he looks terrible. I mean, even the best players go through cold stretches, so it's take it for what you will. It's what we do on this pod. If we really try to zoom out and look at the big picture, I think it's we just see a team that's probably going to like barely crack like 55, 60 wins.
Hey, whoa. That's pretty strong language there.
Okay.
But yeah,
sorry, I should have had a parental advisory thing in the corner there for that.
Exactly. Now we have to freaking be parent advised now, dude. All the kids that are funny ball fans, man, they can't listen anymore. But yeah, the shoe, we'll see what happens. I agree with you though. Didn't stick out for any real great reasons in this stretch, and had a real opportunity. If he would have hit 260 plus in this stretch, then he could have stuck up there, because who knows when Toro's coming back for sure. So yeah, it's a good lump. Hope he takes his lumps.
He certainly is. But giving me some stars.
You want? Well, just one right now. I only got one to spare.
All right.
God. I know. It's okay. Bear with me. I think you're gonna like who it's going to.
Okay.
I'm going. This was hard. I'll say straight up right now, and I've never quite felt this way before. I think you can like interchange all 3 of my star recipients, and I'd feel cool with it. Like, I went the way I feel, with my gut the best. I feel the best about these, these guys getting these amounts of stars, but it could go any way. So 1 star is Mickey Andujar. Feel like he deserved and earned more. But yeah, I mean, 388, is it? Yeah, 382 during this stretch. Has taken a couple walks, 432 on base. Best OPS on the team during this stretch, with at least, let's say 25 plate appearances. And just looking great. He had the unbelievable play in left field, robbing the home run and then gunning the runner out. That was one of the better plays I've seen in all of baseball this year, let alone from a player on the A's, and then a player on the A's who the only question about his game for the last, 7 years has been his defense. So yeah, really cool. I was really proud of that. That felt really fun to see, like a guy who, again, if you ask a lot of baseball fans, is Mickey Andujar in the league? I bet you a lot of them, the ones that know who he is to begin with, are probably saying no. So for him to not only be really playing well enough on defense, like the whole sample has not been perfect defensively, but it's been fine. And then to mix in that awesome play in there, just good for Mickey. This is what he needs just in his career. It's just put together as full of a season as he can. Obviously, he missed a lot of time at the beginning, but, as full of a season as he can, and just play well, and not have a huge glaring red hole in his game. Make the defense average, and the offense is always going to be pretty good, as he's shown. So anyway, 1 star, could have been more, but I think he got 3 stars last week or 2 weeks ago, so 1 star this week.
Yeah, I think he was I guess with just how well he's been playing, this was actually considered like a down week, in comparison to like his other weeks. But
it was definitely a down week. He did a lot of damage in that Royals series. So like if you kind of take away that Royals series and look at the 6 games, it's more like a 250 batting average, and not great OPS because of his on base tendencies. But when you mix in the Royals series and he's sitting 382, it's pretty good. It's hard to call any of that a down stretch other than that specific stretch after the Royals series. But lucky for Andujar, our last recording came before the Royals series. So skates in here with a really good looking batting average that he wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yep. The StatCast gods or Stat Muse gods smiled favorably upon
Exactly. What's Mickey's Statcast
Mickey.
looking like? That's actually a guy I've not. If I have, I haven't
I
registered what it's
I
looking
haven't seen
like.
it yet. Yeah, I can
Here,
also take a
I'm
look.
getting there now. I'm getting there
Okay.
now. Here, wait.
Yeah,
You can
because
start going on your 2 lumps, and
oh,
then
two
I'll come
lumps.
back
Yeah,
in.
sure,
I'll come back in with my
absolutely.
Andujar update.
So my 2 lumps, and this one I didn't even. I actually had him as a dishonorable mention, and then the
Mm,
Angel series happened, and then I gave him 2 lumps. So I'm actually going to give it to Austin Adams.
yeah.
Yeah. So Austin Adams we had planned to record prior to the Angel series, and then we decided to record after the Angel series. So prior to the Angel series happening, you had one stinker sandwiched in between like two really solid relief performances. And then you had another stinker during the Angel series. So against the Twins, he gave up 3 runs in a third of an inning of work. And then against the Angels, I forget which game. It was either game 2 or 3. But he gave up 3 runs and he couldn't even snag it out. And he actually spoiled what was a pretty good. Oh no, Joey Estes was starting in that game. So this is game 3 of the Angel series. Yeah, he couldn't even record an out. Gave up 3 runs. And he actually leads all relievers in the major leagues in hitting batters with pitches. Believe it or not.
That's not good.
So I don't know. The dude's got a mean streak, but not the kind that you're hoping for from your relief pitcher. And also, it's just not great when a relief pitcher plays so bad in limited time that they get 2 lumps of coal. That's pretty
Yeah.
bad. So
Seriously, I
Austin
can't remember
Adams
the last time a
has,
relief pitcher got a lump or a star.
yeah. Well, I mean, like they've kind of been flying under the radar because they'd be, having like, oh, a good, a solid one here, or like a not so good here, maybe give up a run or something like that, but
Mhm.
nothing that jumps off the sheet, jumps out of the box score for you. But Austin Adams has seriously like, dropped some stinkers in his last couple relief appearances. So he's getting 2 lumps for that. He's really struggled. Hopefully he can get back on track.
Fair enough. Yeah, nothing to. I just felt like every time he was coming in recently, he's been blowing games, and unfortunate because he had one of the better starts in all of baseball from the bullpen.
Oh yeah,
Just
absolutely.
from anywhere. So yeah, unfortunate but deserved. Looking at
Ooh, I'm
Andujar
looking.
here,
Yeah,
there's some
I'm
interesting
looking too.
stuff. The arm
Oh, they
strength thing is kind of
love
funny.
they love his arm strength. That
Yeah.
throw, that throw that he had, man, that really bumped it up. I bet.
I bet his arm value went from like mid pack to like top
Yeah,
top percentile just with that. I mean, again,
I'm
it's
sure.
for people that aren't aware of how Baseball Savant works. It gives you all the very inside baseball numbers based, type analytics. But for a lot of them, it gives you the percentile in baseball that player ranks at that metric. So, for example, his arm strength, Miguel Andujar, very small sample. It's the only one that they're not graying out as being, too small of a sample to calculate. Is 96th percentile. So, what Baseball Savant wants us to believe is that Andujar is in the 96th percentile in all of baseball and how hard he throws, which I tend to agree with whatever Baseball Savant says because their numbers are better than mine. I would just say it looks like he's throwing pretty hard if they asked me. I wouldn't be able to give a number.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be more of like the that boy nice type of metric
Yeah.
guy as opposed
Yeah.
to the given his arm strength or war or things like that. Just that boy nice.
That boy nice, yeah. So yeah, just interesting. Little thing. A lot of blue, which again, red is good, blue is bad, and they kind of do it in a bar graph style. A lot more blue than I was expecting, but again, a very small sample here. And Miggy and Duhar notoriously a guy who just makes baseball purists as well as just people who do baseball analytics just scratch their heads because like it's weird on the surface. Pretty awesome player when you look at the back of the baseball card. Like anytime he's given like a real shot, he's like getting near 300 with some pop and a bunch of doubles and pretty good. But then you get to like that next tier of looking at the defense, looking at some of those numbers as well as everything else and the lack of walks and plate discipline. And then I feel like he's gotten a really bad rep from that stuff and like to the point where with injuries involved too, he could only really get a shot to play consistently with the Oakland A's. And then I feel like you look a bit deeper. This is now me purely talking. If you can look below that stuff, at the end of the day, he's not a bad player. It's not like there's a Rolodex of available minor league infielders that can play the corner outfield spots that you just feel pretty comfortable that they're going to hit you 300 in a season. Like, I feel like we've kind of gone backwards where it's like we started caring about the defense and all these baseball savant numbers around maybe 2015 and on. Like, we started to like really care about the Moneyball stuff, like everywhere in baseball started emulating one another. And everyone forgot that you can be a good baseball player and not like please the baseball savant gods. Like, I just think of like how like I feel like Steven Drew is a unfortunate example, and there's plenty more of guys that will stick around in one spot because a team tricks themselves into thinking that they're a super valuable player. And I use Drew as an example. It's an easy one for me to think of as a guy who is awesome with the glove and can play both second and short. And get awesome with the glove, like no doubts about it. But couldn't hit for anything, at least near the latter parts of his career. Couldn't hit. And just some of those guys, it's like you look at certain numbers, the defensive WAR, and maybe WAR in general was favorable to him and stuff. And then at the end of the day, you kind of forget that you're putting a guy in the lineup every day who you almost expect to go over 4. I don't know. Again, baseball numbers will have you believe that defense is incredibly important and that 300 with the 800 OPS is not quite as important if great defense or very good defense is behind it. I don't know. I feel like Mickey's kind of just showing now, like, there's a reason that he's one of the few guys we're really excited about. And he's doing him. It's mediocre defense, not walking, getting a lot of hits. And that, you know what? That feels good for a team that feels like it's lacked some hits in recent weeks. So, anyway, I hope maybe some people are just taking notice of that. And if I'm a shred right, I could be completely off base here, or at least not acknowledging certain things I should. But in my opinion, I feel like that 300 average and a guy who's not going to play you terrible defense, I feel like that's underrated nowadays. But anyway, that's a whole thing right there that doesn't really have an answer or a solution. More so getting that off my chest. But anyway, go Mickey.
Go Mickey.
Go Mickey.
Go Mickey.
Am I giving out 2 stars?
You are.
Woo! Again, I said before, I could alternate any of these guys and it works. I went Hogan Harris for 2 stars. If this was like a season, 3 stars, which we should do at some point. We should do like a mid-season stars and Cole.
We should. That's
totally
a very good point. Yeah.
But as of right now, this sample, I'm giving Hoagie the 2 stars.
It's Hoagie Fest, baby.
Yeah, dude. Bunch of A's fans should show up to a game with Hoagies at some point.
Oh, I was gonna say like all my Wawa people would get that one, but
are they Wawas in Oakland? Probably.
I doubt it. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if there was any Wawas beyond like, the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, can we do a deal? Put some Wawas out in Oakland if we can get some Moe's Southwest Grills everywhere. Sign off on that for me?
I don't know why I would be the person to have to sign off on that, but
you're the guy I'm talking to right now.
What do I get for it? I guess
you get Wawas in Oakland.
Okay.
I feel like it's pretty clear that you're getting something pretty cool out of it.
Yeah, I'd be so excited if I actually lived in Oakland. Or I should say, I gotta say Oakland, like the like the what's it called? The Delco accent, like the Oakland. Oakland.
Yeah,
I have to get my family from Oakland.
I had probably my favorite meatball sub ever from Wawa. Like, I have not had a lot of meatball subs, which is probably why it's my favorite one I've ever had. But it was, Also, like underrated. You go to a place and they're kind of making you a normal, a meatball sub, a normal sandwich. I like a place where they have like some bacon right there, and you can be like, "Hey, can you put some bacon on that?" And then they're like, "Yeah, $1 extra." And I'm like, "Cool." Other places where you order a meatball sub and you ask for bacon, and they laugh at you,
Yeah, they take you out back, they shoot you in the leg
man.
for asking for extra
Exactly.
bacon in your meatball sub.
They would aim higher if it was more legal, but that's the most they can get away with, shooting patrons in the leg.
They were- I just my mind went to the Kendrick Euphoria lyric. It's like like told me to aim it this way. I told you to learn today that I learned from those mistakes.
Literally, I think subconsciously that's why he phrased it that way. And what I was kind of thinking of when you said you thought of something, I was thinking of an 8 Mile when Cheddar Bob shot himself in the leg.
Rest in peace, Cheddar Bob.
No, he's not dead. He never died.
I know he's not dead. It was a joke. It was a joke. I know he's not
But
dead.
he didn't even die in the movie.
Yeah, I know.
I just can't have any Cheddar Bob slander over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember when Anthony Mackie was like, you had a friend named Cheddar Bob and he shot himself in the leg with his own gun, and then B-Rabbit was all like, oh, gotta get it back. Clarence,
Dude.
real name.
Yeah,
Clarence.
it's Clarence. Parents got a real nice marriage,
Clarence and parents and sparents and Clarence at the Clarence aisle. Remember when he was all like that?
Dude, I know, man. When you rhyme clearance with Clarence, oh man, dude, the place was jumping with that.
When B-Rabbit rhymed Clarence with clearance, the world might as well have ended that day, because it was an entirely new earth that we were standing on.
Dude,
shortly thereafter.
That bar was so hard that Anthony Mackie joined the Avengers in order to
Yeah,
stop,
Anthony Mackie realized that he was not a battle rapper. He was actually destined to be an actor, and and join the Avengers and make a interesting Black Mirror episode.
Have you ever watched The Wire?
See, I tried to get into The Wire.
Really? It's one of my favorite TV shows all time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, if you've ever seen like seasons like 3, 4, and 5, Anthony Mackie actually was auditioning for the role of Marlo Stanfield, which I think is like hilarious if you think about like all like the smiles that he gets like memed on for, and it's like oh, and another thing, the price of the brick is going up, and you just imagine like Anthony Mackie's smile as he like takes over like the co-op.
See, I didn't watch The Wire, so I'm a bit. No, this is good. I bet someone listening to this eventually, when someone who's watched The Wire's listening to this, they're gonna get a kick out of that.
Probably my sister. My sister like is probably the only person who's gonna like listen this far and has also seen like all of The Wire. So
right.
Yeah. All right. Good for her.
I mean, if we know specific people that are watching, just like Skylar, shout out again. Then we should shout them out. Maybe they'll tell a friend about this show.
Yeah,
not The Wire, Funny Ball.
Yeah, I mean The Wire's got enough publicity, but
people talk about The Wire. I've been told to watch The Wire a lot.
The Wire's great. I love The Wire. It's
like I'm sure it's fantastic.
Top two.
Top two? Is it
top
2?
2 for me.
Top 2 and it's not 2.
I don't know if I would say top 2 and it's not 2. I think it's top 2 and it's 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I would actually put it. That.
Yeah, top 2 and it's just 2.
Top 2 and it's 2. I love.
Which feels like such like a backhanded compliment, especially if it's like like in put next to something else. But
you can say it passive aggressively for sure, and it would work.
Yeah.
Here, my computer.
Anywho,
needs some battery, so I'm gonna plug it in. What were we talking about? The Oakland A's.
Yeah, I think so. We should probably.
Hogan Harris. Yeah.
Hogan Harris. Hogan
Harris.
Harris.
We're gonna go on the same exact tangent, the same exact way we did the first time.
we're living in a big loop. Yeah.
But anyway, let me get the Hogan Harris stuff up. 3.27 ERA in 2 starts. Both of them. One of them was very close to being a quality start, with a couple outs away, but they would have been easily quality starts. 3 runs and 2 runs, and this is a little bit like, it's pretty important, I think, that we don't let a player's entire season or a much larger sample like dictate who we're giving stars and gold to in any given week. But when it comes to a tiebreaker, Hogan Harris has been so great recently, and he so sticks out to me as a guy that unless a team is willing to buy high on him, like pretty soon. Trade deadline's obviously not that long away. I think he's going to be here a while, and he should be. There's a lot of things to like about like all of this, saving metrics and all of the stuff that come with him, as well as you just watch him pitch, and he can pitch. He's giving enough length every time. He hasn't had that one big bad blow up start yet. Under control for a long ass time. So yeah, I'm just generally pleased with Harris, and he also was a huge piece in one of the only dubs we've gotten recently. So wasn't even that recently, but recently enough. So yeah, gotta love our Hoagie Harris. Bring Wawa to Oakland.
Put it on the banner. We got a bunch of those in the rafters now, but that's another one. Yeah. All right, I got a few different dishonorable mentions I can give.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
You know what gets my goat is that you don't even need to like dishonorably mention somebody. Like if you were to just have your 3 lumps of coal and have that and be like, no, I'm not gonna take shots at anyone else today. Be okay. It's within the rules that you're provided. But here you go, going out of your way to just like dishonorably mention some people. I had to make sure that people knew what was going on.
Okay. Well, I hear you, and I want to remind you that the A's went 3-6 over the last 9, so I'm well within my right to do this. So here we go. Kyle McCann, touch home plate. What are you doing? Okay, next. Luis Medina. Yeah, enough said. Luis Medina. So, I said funky, cold Medina. Funky and cold can be used to describe his command, and how he's been throwing. So, because he had 2 walks, hits a guy, and he lasted 3 innings, and it was gross. So gross that Aaron Brooks, of all people, had to come back from the dead and like clean up the mess.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and he was great. And Aaron Brooks was awesome for 5 innings in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just that game was just like, he just drunk the entire game anyway, so like whatever.
Yeah.
That was just a nasty Luis Medina one. It was kind of like whatever. I'm gonna just give him a dishonorable mention as opposed to a lump, but this is like a semi lump for him anyway. And then I'm just gonna call out like most of the A's hitting lineup. If I read you off the stats of Shea Langoliers, Lawrence Butler, Tyler Nevin, Zach Geloff, and Tyler Soderstrom, they'd be about identical.
Generally are, and they're not good.
I'm going to read them off right now because they're actually that similar. Okay, so Tyler Nevin, he went 3 of 22. Shea Langoliers, 3 of 24. Lawrence Butler, 4 of 25. Zach Geloff, 7 of 29. He was actually the best of the bunch. And then Tyler Soderstrom, 5 of 29. Like, it's not good. Like, half of their hitting lineup has been batting. I'm gonna just quickly. I mean, half their. Yeah, they're like sub 185 even. I mean, the best of the bunch was okay. Geloff batted 241, but like, yeah, Soderstrom batted 172. Butler was 160. Langoliers was 125. Nevin was 136. I mean, if you're, most of your hitting lineup is batting, under 180. I mean, even like 200, but even like below 180 for, a couple, games, the pitchers have no run support. It's just terrible. Their offense has been booty. And that's just, my call out to them.
Not Pirates booty either.
Not Pirates booty, because we actually like Pirates booty on this pod.
Yeah, to be honest. Yeah. It's being honest here.
I appreciate your honesty.
But
okay.
Yeah,
right,
I don't have much to add to what you said. It's it all sounds pretty real, pretty accurate to me. I also don't have anything really. I mean, we'll there's a couple things too that we'll get into shortly that have a little bit to do with something you mentioned. So I'll hold off a little bit, but yeah, it's been bad booty.
All right. You got some honorable mentions?
Yeah, of course I do. The opportunity to actually praise some players
Well,
when I don't
you
have
can
to.
play the game, and you don't have to do it.
No,
You
I
can like I don't
know.
think any of these guys were deserving of an honorable mention, and that'd
I'm
be
such
okay
a
too. That'd be
generous and
well
nice
within.
guy
Oh,
that I'm going
well,
to
I'll
give it
remember
to them.
this when you run for public office one day.
I
I
will.
will
Now I'll
remember
remind
that.
you of it when I run for public office. That's how much I believe in it.
I mean, shoot, like not to get political on the pod here, but
Oh,
I'd vote for you if you were running
not what I
on
thought
the
you'd
on
say.
the
That's a
on the
win.
on the positive A's platform. That's
Yeah,
how I'd
yeah.
vote for you.
I'd be running on a lot of A's type stuff. Like I'd be talking about the A's a lot, and a lot of my diatribes would be about how I want to make the A's better. So yeah, write me in, dude. Oh, I would love to be like one of those like 0.01% writing candidates that they show on TV one time. Um, like
Yeah.
just like Lancaster, Michigan, like wrote me in like 15 times, enough to like show up on the TV screen during one of the updates. I would love that, dude.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
anyway, honorable mentions. Here I'll actually go into right away. I'm actually going to mention Geloff in a positive light, kind of only because there's been so much negative this year that I feel like when he does something good, maybe I should acknowledge it. So, yeah, I mean, he had a home run in every game of that Kansas City series, and that was the best series we've had in a long while. And like, kind of within a like 10-game radius of that series, it's like the best series we've had. So I feel like just being one of the biggest pieces and the best series of baseball we've played deserves an honorable mention, but a mention because again, if you take out that Kansas City series, like Miggy Andujar, but at an even more drastic level, the stats become a bit more ugly. And then also just defensively, like he is who he is on defense. He's good. He might one day compete for a Gold Glove. He'll at least probably be a candidate. Nothing crazy special, but he makes the right, makes the plays. He very rarely feels like thinking out there when he's playing defense, which is good. So anyway, Geloff, okay. Brent Rooker, it's like a funny thing where like if we just thought that Brent Rooker is now an 860 OPS guy, then like it would even be lesser of a mention here because that's what he's doing in this stretch. Like I just don't know if like I should be really happy with like 860 OPS and still treat him as if that's like an achievement, or if that we should start kind of being like, nah, Brent Rooker's good. 860, that's around where he's going to be a lot. Especially when he's not hitting for crazy power. So, yeah, all to say, like the A's do have a guy in the team that's playing so well that like I'm second guessing if I should just readjust, my opinion of him and skew it higher because he's just been that good for now a long time. And unfortunately, as we talked about last pod, I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to talk about how good Brent Rooker might or may not be, or how much we like like him a lot or like him a bit. So anyway, Brent Rooker, shout out. Mason Miller, another one. I feel bad. I feel like I should have maybe given him a star here, but I wouldn't have had then the Miggy slot probably. But just awesome, just locked down, only a hit and a walk during the stretch of 4 games, shut down all 4 games. We're taking it for granted. I'll say for me, I've been taking it for granted, like for sure. How good he's been, just with how many other areas of the team there are to focus on and how much losing there's been. Like, because the closer, like when a team's really good and the closer's locked down, you think about the closer more often because for one, they're pitching a lot more often, but it's just in a team's head a lot more, and in fans' heads a lot more. I think because again, you often have to face it. With Mason Miller, I feel like it just sneaks up on you because he doesn't get a lot of opportunities or save opportunities at least. Then he comes in there and just reminds you he's top 3 in baseball. I'll do a little exercise. Who would I rather have like shutting down games? Clase, sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
And
Emmanuel
Hader,
Clase, that's
maybe.
it.
But
Yeah.
Hader is like Hader could have an awful year next year, and it's just another one of those bad Hader years. Like he does that sometimes. Like he'll have an awful year, lock in for 2 or 3 years after that, and then he'll pitch poorly again. So like we'll see with Mason Miller where we can't quite say. yet that he's a guy who's had multiple years of just being so brilliant and injury free as well. But yeah, I mean, those are the only two guys that hit my head pretty quickly in terms of like, oh yeah, I'd rather have those two than Mason Miller. And I don't even know what Hader, as I said. So he's been awesome. Not much else to deliberate about there. Oh, and last honorable mention, TJ McFarland.
Yeah. Another one for him. Another bump for McFarland.
No explanation needed, or
Nope, not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
Anyway, who are you giving 3 lumps to?
I'm giving 3 lumps.
Oh, and before you do it, don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's mean.
It's mean.
Yeah, 3 lumps.
I don't care. What were they gonna do?
Would you tell it to their face? Would you say it to their face?
Yeah, I would.
All right, we'll maybe put this to the test one day. I'm gonna always remember this. Go for it.
All right.
Go for it.
On that note, I'm giving it to JP Sears. Hell yeah, I'd say it to his face.
You probably would too. I would too.
Yeah. Well, he had a terrible start against the Twins. I think that was the only game that he played in that he started over that 9-game stretch. He gave up 8 runs. He didn't even survive the second inning. 7 of those runs came in the second inning. He had 2 straight hit by pitches. I don't know if he has something against the Twins. And then he gave way to Osvaldo Bido to clean up, who actually did okay. Yeah, Bido. It's good to see Bido get his libido. No, that was weird. That's weird. I'm not saying that again.
You probably will say that again. By the way,
I probably will say that again. Osvaldo Bido is good to see. He's got his libido.
Oh, you
back.
said it immediately again. I didn't expect that. I meant more like by mistake a month from now.
oh, no. Now it's like kind of sealed my long-term memory. So
two for the price of one, I guess. Yeah,
there you go. So JP actually has kind of had a not great couple starts recently. I would like to think that this is a bit of a one-off, but he's struggled a bit over his last couple starts.
Yeah.
He gave up 9 hits and 4 walks in his last start, also against the Twins. He's just had a rough June. His ERA in June, I believe, is 9.18 so far. Not great. He's had a tough month. So here's a hoping JP gets better. I would say that, like, if I were to say that to his face, I would follow it up with, like,
I think you backtracked.
compliment
you made
sandwich.
That nicer. I think you made that nicer than it was about to be.
Yeah.
After me saying what I said.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's about to be a lot nastier. I think you're about to say something about, like, his name or something. You're gonna, like, make a joke, like JP Sears, more like JP with 2 E's Sears.
I was gonna say JV Sears because he's playing like he's on a JV squad right now.
It's a better, more logical, more family friendly joke
but I like the P one. That was also
you like that.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, it was like fine.
With JP Sears, I know that he and Kotz both said that the fastball has just sucked generally, mainly location and his command, as well as just literally movement. And it's just, I think Sears himself said the word flat to describe it. If your fastball's not working, then nothing else is going to work because your fastball you throw maybe half the time usually. So, if both he and Kotz are saying, and that's the first thing both of them said, is the fastball control, command, and everything's not there. That's a good, very easy, simple way to explain what's happening right now, especially given that he's been pretty good at times this year. So hopefully he gets out of the funk and can command that fastball a bit better. We're seeing it around the league too. Some other good pitchers pitchers that are, at least have the reputation of being a lot better than JP Sears have real fastball command issues recently. Could be the pickup in heat too. I don't know. It is hot in California, man. But yeah. So I'm hoping for the best. I weirdly feel like I have all the guys this year that have like really struggled at times. For one, most of them have been sent down But I feel like of all guys, I feel the most confident that he can like just make it better, just mechanics and whatever he needs to do. I have faith in him to bounce back.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think he'll probably be on a longer leash than anybody else.
Sure.
Quite honestly, because I don't know who else they're going to be starting at this point.
Well, 4 of our 5 starters to open the year are hurt right now, so I think
JP is the last one standing, and he can't command a fastball.
If he's on a leash, it's a leash the length of the Rocky Mountains. Like, it is a long ass leash that he's on. To say, I do think he can almost do anything, and as long as he's healthy, he's going to be in this rotation. Which he's earned. That's because he's earned it. So, you ready for 3 stars to talk about something a bit more positive? Yeah, it's obviously going to go to Estes. Just where to begin? I mean, just great recently, bounced back after a couple or 3 starts ago, technically now. Now a great start. I think earned a lump of coal of some sort last week. And then, yeah, Tom just looked great. He was looking fantastic before that rough start. Before, if you were to take out that start, the season ERA and stuff, small sample still, but it's looking nice. Good vibes. Had the whole family in LA. That was his hometown team and his favorite team growing up. And to see all the family and how just excited he was about that. Even Cott's talking about it, and Cott seemed very genuinely on a human level very happy for him. And just good vibes. Because even with, Miggy and Hoagie, you can say it's still pretty early, and I would say Hoagie's maybe the second best vibe guy right now on the team. But at least with Miggy, you can point to, after the Kansas City, it's not been as great, and, he still doesn't walk. And I feel like there's a lot of ways to take away from what certain guys are doing, which is, in some cases, fair enough. Not much you can take away from Joey with the exception of that one bad start, which again, his season stats still look pretty all right despite that start. So, just happy for him. Happy, talk about on a human level. On a human level, any of these guys I feel like are just bettering their careers one way or another. Either they are earning themselves more money with the A's eventually, or earning just the attention of other teams. And whatever the case is, I just like to see guys succeed despite some pretty brutal circumstances that are facing them this year. It's good stuff. So anyway, go Joey.
Heck yeah, go Joey. Good for him. And he's only 22. So,
exactly.
What are we doing with our lives?
Podcasting. More than Joey.
Bold. Very bold.
I was trying to think of any other joke I can make there. Nah, it wasn't a good joke to begin with.
Yeah, it's fine. All right. We got that out of the way.
Yep.
Cool.
We certainly do.
We did.
I want to slap you in the face with some trivia.
Which way? Which cheek?
I didn't think that far.
Okay.
My mind didn't go there. Yeah, everywhere.
Okay.
Wop, 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 wop. Okay, so...
wop. Trip.
So, first trivia question. Are you ready? I'm getting right into it.
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
This player goes by Mandy and gained 2 pounds in between his college junior and senior seasons.
Mandy?
And goes by, used to be that's what everyone called him. That's that's his name on certain websites and scouting websites is Mandy. What? I want to see those hands too. Can't
okay.
be.
Sorry,
yeah.
hands. Mandy. Oh boy. Mandy. That's such a random one because I feel like it has to be something similar to their name.
I gave you a really good extra clue about the 2 pounds in between junior and senior year too, just in case that person didn't help you. So you can kind of think of who looks like they
narrows it. Yeah, that really narrowed it down.
Would gain 2 pounds in between. Could be muscle. Not trying to take away from them. Could have been good pounds.
I'm gonna say. Oh, if we're going off of weight, Kyle Muller.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
No, no, no. Armando Alvarez, new Oakland
Mandy.
Our Mandy.
Oh, Mandy.
So when you go
God
to this
dang
like
it.
college, if you like look up a player, and like every college athlete, or at least most of them, especially D1, have like their own page online, like on the website of the team. He was going by Mandy in college, just as
Wow.
Mandy Alvarez.
Mandy Alvarez. Wow.
So there you go.
There you go. Okay, so it was
Big X, right there. Unfortunately.
all right. Next one.
Question number 2.
Yep.
I like this question. In an interview prior to the 2024 MLB season, this player was asked, and I quote, "What is your message to A's fans who are starting to get to know you?" He responded, and again I quote, "Your tickets are going to be worth buying. That's why I like to tell the A's fans, you will not be wasting your money coming to see us play." Who lied to us?
Oh God, who would flap their gums that much on this team?
I like this question.
Me too. It's a funny question because I feel like you're gonna just see who I think is like worthy of flapping their gums that much. In this
Yeah,
team.
who's talking a little bit,
I'm gonna say Alex Wood. I'm gonna say it was Alex Wood who said that.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
No. Law was talking out of his butt, pre-season.
Oh, I see what you did there. That was good.
Yeah.
Lawrence Butler actually said that's crazy.
I guess the little clue baked in there is him saying, like the question was, A's fans just starting to get to know you. So it has to be a new player, as well as someone who is like rash enough, who doesn't. Wawa didn't know what he was going to look like as a big league player, and he was taking a swing, pun intended. Like, he probably thought to himself, like, "Oh, this is going to look sick if I'm good." Like, and it was a bit of a swing and a miss after
he called a shot, and then
mid-season demotion and promotion, and not much going on since pre-motion. But anyway, pretty funny. You know what? I much prefer that than a guy who is like, "I'm here so I won't get fined. Don't buy tickets to see us. We're not going to be fun to watch." I appreciate the young, youthful optimism. So anyway, 0 for 2, big X going next to that question, as is customary. Big X. All right, you got one more question. Only 3 today.
Oh, shoot. All right.
So if you get this right, you could be a glowing 1.5 for 7, and if you don't, then you are 0.5 for 7.
Okay.
I like this question too. A little less funny. It's a good question, I think. This player received his first contract to play professional MLB affiliated baseball at 21 years old. This is noteworthy, as most Latin players that eventually make the big leagues are signed at 18 or younger. Who's that player? Essentially signed 3 years later, at least, than most other players from his country and his region would, and still has obviously made to the big leagues. Who that player?
Right up until you said the whole like Latin contract thing, I was gonna go Joey Estes because he's so young. But okay, now I gotta change my answer.
I did, but yeah, it was part of the question as Latin players, and I also wanted to make this one like achievable, because it's a little bit more of an actual trivia question.
Just think of all Latin players on the team. Well, you got.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to look up anyone that you say if it's not the answer I have here, because I don't know when every player was signed on the team. So you could, I guess, get it right. There could be multiple correct answers here.
Right. Okay. So I'm not listing off my answers here. It's just like I'm just thinking of Latin players on the team. So
go for it.
Miguel Andujar, Esther Ruiz. Well, Ruiz is in AAA, so I guess we're not counting that right now. Danny Jimenez, Alenimus Diaz, Armando Alvarez.
I'll also tell you now, I'm never going to double up on trivia. So if anyone's already been an answer, you don't have to.
Okay, so it's not gonna be Alvarez.
Not going to
Okay.
be Alvarez. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Thank
He
you.
was also American, by the way. Screw you.
Okay. I don't know how to feel about that now. Okay, sorry. Andujar, Jimenez. Wow, I just look really bad now. Shoot, who else?
I'm just trying to make you look bad during these trivia segments.
Damn, who else is Latin on the team? I mean Ruiz, but he's in AAA right now, so it's not.
Correct.
I'm just going with okay. Oh, Osvaldo Bido is another one. Yeah, even like the pitchers, like they're not. Yeah, most of them aren't. Yeah, most of them are American. Their lineup is Schumann, Blade, Rooker, Butler, All American, Langoliers, McCann, Toro. I feel like Toro's American though. I don't think Toro. Yeah, pretty sure Toro's American.
I could be wrong. I don't think he is, but he's also not the answer to this question.
Okay, so that really just leaves Andujar and Jimenez. I'm going Miggy. I don't know who else it could be. I guess maybe Aledis Diaz. I'll go Miggy. Is it Miggy?
Final answer?
Final answer.
You got there, and then you didn't get there. It was Bido.
Oh, it was Osvaldo Bido.
It was Bido.
Oh.
And you got there. You like kind of took a second. You're like, there's also Bido, but then at the end, he wasn't kind of in your head.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Okay.
I actually read
he got to the game so late.
He did, yeah. I read a pretty interesting thing. The scout that found him is a guy who's notorious for finding Latin players that are a bit older than 18 and turning them into big leaguers. And I think Bido is his 37th ever Latin player above the age of 18 that he scouted and got signed after 18 that eventually made the big leagues, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Oh, Luis Medina is another one I forgot.
Wait, who did you end up saying, Miggy? Oh, I know for a fact Miggy was here before 21. Or let me just make sure exactly.
He was probably drafted before he was 21.
Well, he wasn't drafted. He was signed. He was probably signed at 17.
He was signed. Okay.
Because I feel like he was developing for a while.
Yeah, I don't know when Miggy. Yeah.
I'm just looking it up quickly.
Oh, okay. He's 29 now.
Reference.
I was just looking at other. I was just trying to think of like all. Okay, so the only Latin player I missed on the team is Luis Medina. Okay. They really actually don't have a ton though on their team.
No.
It's Andujar, Bido, Aledis Diaz.
Hey, I got it on the head. Miggy was signed at 17.
Oh, nice. There you go.
He had a 587 OPS in the Gulf Coast Rookie League at 17. Miggy.
Wow. Dang, it was
587 OPS over 50 games. Not very good 17.
Yeah. Get good 17-year-old Miggy.
Get good, which I guess he did eventually. He's making millions of dollars playing baseball.
Okay, I'm looking up Toro. I'm like almost positive he's American though. I'm just curious if he actually is.
At least it'd be an eye for an eye, and we both would have made a pretty bad mix-up if he is.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's Canadian.
He's Canadian. I knew he wasn't American. Canadian. I felt, but he's not Latin. I mean, he is, but
yeah. He's not he's like he doesn't hold citizenship in that country. Is what we mean by that.
He's Canadian. Yeah. That's actually kind of cool. That would have been such a killer trivia question.
Yeah, he's the one Canadian player on the team.
Nice. There you go. Maybe I'll do some sort of Canada theme question for him. So you can do some homework if you want. I can't stop you from doing some homework.
Yeah. I suppose I might, yeah.
Become an expert on Toro's Canadianness. But cool. Yeah, there you go. 0 for 3. Just like a lot of the lineup often.
Oh, 0.5, which is like I either walked or like I hit like an infield. I reached an infield single due to an error. I think that's like what we.
Which is still an over.
Exactly. Like it's still it goes in the stat sheet as an over.
I think we went 4 last time, and I kind of had in my head, oh, it could be like an actual game. You'll get 4 at bats every time. Sometimes the other pitcher shuts you down, and when you're in the 8th hole, you're only getting 3 at bats. Will, and you just got shut down by a good pitcher today.
I was slinging the rock today, man. What can I say?
I had my ace stuff today. Maybe that's how I should do it. Is if you don't get any credit for any of the first 3, then you don't unlock the 4th trivia question. But you can unlock another at bat by getting like any partial credit on the first stream. We'll see.
Okay.
It's a work in progress.
Damn.
But anyway,
man.
There you go. There's some Travia.
And I do apologize to
It's also what Travis Kelce calls trivia whenever he's doing it.
Travia. Yeah. Okay. Well, I apologize to the fans.
We're doing Travia? Oh yeah. Sorry, Travis Kelce.
Jason, get in here. We're doing Travia.
Oh, Jason. Oh, dude. They're doing Travia. All the questions are about him. What year was he?
And Jason's like going crazy. He's like, God, like you're not gonna believe this. Like we're doing Travia. It's a terrible Jason Kelce impression.
Who was that actually an impression of? I'm trying to think. That was a good impression of somebody. I'm trying to think of who.
It's like Richard Nixon, I feel like.
Yeah, wait, that's actually... Yeah, wait, there's totally some Nixon.
Come on, Agnew, we're doing Travia.
Is that also what Richard Nixon called it?
Yeah. If there were a U.S. president to call it Travia, it probably was Nixon.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. There you go.
So, there you go. There's your weekly, bi-weekly Travia.
I like.
You got anything else? I feel like we covered most stuff. Is there anything else?
Nothing else, man.
I've got nothing else myself. It's almost, I feel deceivingly like there's something, but there's not. I mean, we've got a bunch of injuries. It's almost not even worth going into the injuries because there's way too many of them.
JD Davis got selected to go to the Yankees.
Davis.
That was kind of funny.
JD Davis is gone and had a fantastic first series with the Yankees. He said sarcastically. So yeah, that happened. And one little thing I think worth mentioning. It's actually, you know what? I think it's not a bad way to end the pod. Is a lesson, Will.
Okay.
You ready for a lesson that
I am.
I'm teaching myself as well? Is playing Major League Baseball in any capacity, but especially as a hitter, is really hard. It's really hard. As we went over last time, our shortstop, Nick Allen, was mowing down AAA pitching and was lighting it up and hitting 350 something, I believe. Now, you know who the most recent player of the week in his division of AAA baseball is? I'll cut the time here. It's Seth Brown is just killing AAA pitching now. He hit 350 with 3 homers and like a double. It's one of his first weeks back. So, reminder to everybody, it's really hard to play Major League Baseball. And hopefully we couch our criticism enough and just authentic. We just want to... We know we can't play Major League Baseball, so we're not going to talk about any of these players as if they can't either, even if they're not perfect at it. Because, man, it is so hard to be good at Major League Baseball.
Well, the next few series for the A's will begin starting tomorrow with a 3-game series on the road against Arizona. And then that will be followed by a 3-game homestand against the Angels again. And then after that, so that's going to go into July 4th, and July 5th or 7th is going to be a 3-game home series against the Orioles. Ka-chow, as Lightning McQueen would say. So we want to thank you so much again for tuning in. Shout out if you made it this far, as always, or even just tuning in for a little bit. We do appreciate it. And we hope you have a healthy and happy holiday week next week. Whatever you do to celebrate, hope you're spending some time with family or just doing something fun. and enjoying the summer. So we'll see you next time.